Hello, and thank you for joining us for Monthly Melt for the month of March.
Yep.
Um, so let's get into it. We are starting off with our top fives, and this month I got to choose, and I went with songs from the 60s. Fairly easy category, I felt like.
Not at all, because I started with a list of 11, got down to 5, and changed my 5, and changed it again. And
Well, we're at that age where our parents were listening to this on the radio while we were in the car because that was the oldie station, was the songs from the 60s.
And I still like listening to a lot of 60s music. It's, just
It's good
music. Yeah.
Good storytelling music. A lot of stories.
It was definitely a strange decade in our country's history.
Absolutely.
And had such a wide variety of music. Starting at the beginning of the decade, you still had that 50s sound with the boy bands. Then you had Rise of Motown. Yeah. And then you get to the psychedelic age. And the band, if you look at the Beatles, where they were at the beginning of the decade versus what they sounded like at the end of the decade.
Two different bands entirely.
Yeah. So just spoiler, I don't have any Beatles on my list, but
I'm surprisingly don't either.
I'm not a huge Beatles fan. I do enjoy some of their stuff. But we'll start with my number 5, and that is Suspicious Minds by Elvis Presley. Almost didn't make my list because I almost like the remake better by Dwight Yoakam.
Yeah.
But Suspicious Minds, Elvis, good song.
Easily his best song.
It's
in my opinion. I mean, other people, because a lot of people love Elvis.
Yeah, I like Suspicious Mind. Rubbernecking, which I think came out earlier because it's more of that
50-ish
sound. But Suspicious Mind just got that good groove to it, and song I really enjoy. So that's my number 5, Suspicious Minds.
My number 5 is the Mamas and the Papas, Californian Dreamin'. It originally wasn't on my top 10. Then I was just playing the 60s radio mix on my Pandora, and it came up, and I'm like, oh yeah, this was a 60s song. And I really enjoy it because, it's one of those songs if you hear, you can sing along with it because you know all the words in your head.
Yeah, it's I think one of those quintessential 60s songs. I'm not a huge fan of it. I'm not a big fan of that style of 60s song, I guess.
The West Coast California sound.
Yeah.
Not quite the Beach Boys, but in the same genre.
There are some I like.
So my number 5 was the Mamas and the Papas, California Dreamin'.
All right, my number 4 is a weird song that people don't think about, but Snoopy versus the Red Baron by the Royal Guardsmen. It's one of those songs that I just can't help but smile when I hear it. A lot of people know the Christmas version better.
Yeah.
But I don't know. It's one of those songs that you don't know how it got on the radio, really.
Oh, well.
It was the 60s.
Charlie Brown was one of the bigger icons of the 60s, I would say.
But I don't know what it is really about the song. It's one of those that it originally wasn't on my list. And then when I was going back through and remembered this song, I was like, oh, it's got to be on my list. But just a neat little song. And again, it doesn't sound like much else from that time period.
Yeah, it's definitely one of the campier songs.
Yeah. Yeah, if you look at what they consider like funny songs of a decade or whatever, this one a lot of times makes that. But that's number 4, Snoopy versus the Red Baron by the Royal Guardsmen.
I went a different direction for my number 4. I went with Land of a Thousand Dances by Wilson Pickett. Great tune. You still hearing in parties today.
Yeah.
At least parties I'm going to.
Which are retirement homes?
Absolutely. I can't keep up with the youth of today. If I'm going to a youth party, I'm clearly there because I was tricked.
No, what sold this song for you has to be that it was on the wrestling album in the 80s. and all the singers or all the wrestlers singing it. And classy Freddie Blassie calling people pencil neck geeks.
Oh, absolutely. But it's still a great song. It puts you in a good mood.
Yes, it definitely does that.
It's hard to be sad while listening to this song. It just makes you want to get up and dance.
Yeah.
So my number 4 is Wilson Pickett's Land of a Thousand Dances.
All right. Moving on to my number 3. It is Sink the Bismarck by Johnny Horton. This came out at the very beginning of the 60s, which is why it sounds like nothing later in the 60s. But Johnny Horton is one of our dad's favorite singers of all time.
Yep.
The first song I actually learned every word to was Battle of New Orleans by Johnny Horton, which would have made the list, but it came out in 1959. Sink the Bismarck came out in 1961, I believe. But there's just something about this song, again, being a history buff, I think is part of it. But it's a cool song that is historically, accurate. And I enjoy a lot of Johnny Horton stuff. Sink the Bismarck, Battle of New Orleans, North to Alaska.
Yep.
There's just so much good music by Johnny Horton. And fun fact about Johnny Horton, he was Kix Brooks of Brooks and Dunn's neighbor when Kix Brooks was little. But anyways, Sink the Bismarck, Johnny Horton. If you've never heard this song, please go check it out.
My number 3 goes in another vastly different direction than my brother's number 3, and that is Marvin Gaye and Tammy Terrell, Ain't No Mountain High Enough. Probably one of the more popular songs on our list of our top 5s. I think youth of today would know this song, and that's just because of it being in like a Marvel movie with Guardians of the Galaxy.
Oh, was it?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, it got another resurgence because of that. So I think out of all the 10 songs that we've listed, that's probably the one that the youth would actually know today.
Maybe Suspicious Minds.
I don't know.
And I have to say number 2 and number 1, yeah, I think people would know. Younger people today.
High school and younger would not know our number 2 or number 1.
Maybe.
No. Maybe you're number 1.
But yeah, this Ain't No Mountain High Enough, good song. Can't help but sing along with it.
Absolutely. One of the better duets before the duet era of the 70s when every song I know is a duet, more or less.
Yeah, there were a lot of duets in the 70s.
So that was my number 3, Marvin Gaye and Tammy Terrell, Ain't No Mountain High Enough.
And our number 2 is actually a dual crossover at the same number.
Absolutely. The band was the group.
Yeah, The Wait is the song. Man, great song for the end of the decade. Mm-hmm. It's just got that good folk feel is what I look at.
It's a very storytelling song, which I think is where the 60s really thrived, is storytelling songs.
Yeah. But yeah, that folksy, you can just sort of groove to it. I look at that as sort of like the band Pure Prairie League. Okay. That band folksy. I know I keep coming back to that, but that's how I look at it.
You like the word folksy. Like I said, even though this is our number 2, I don't see anybody high school or younger right now knowing this song.
I don't know.
It's not a song that you hear a lot anymore, unfortunately.
But it's definitely one of those songs, if I'm driving down the road and it's on, I will roll the windows down and definitely belt it out with them.
And that was our number 2 song, The Wait by The Band. So your number 1?
And my number 1, probably one of the, songs that fits the decade the most.
I'll say it's probably in the most movies with about that decade.
Yeah, Fortunate Son by Creedence Clearwater Revival. Man, if there's a song made about, or a movie made about the 60s that has music to it, this song is in it. Mm-hmm. It speaks of that Vietnam era of the 60s.
Yep.
And, to me, it resonates with how split the country was then.
Well, it's a very rock heavy song. It's a very political song.
Yeah.
Because they're against the establishment, but they're also saying that they're American.
Yeah.
So it really fits how people were feeling at the time.
Yeah, and you know, when I look at songs that define a decade, that's what the word I was going to define a decade. I think this has to be right up there as a song that definitely defines the decade of the 60s.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, CCR wasn't around real long together.
Nope.
There was only 4 or 5 years, but the music that they put out is awesome. And this song is right there at the top of the list.
Oh, absolutely. It make any TNT or AMC collection of the 60s music grouping that you used to see on TV all the time. Don't know if they still do those, but this song would definitely be listed as one of them. Almost made my list. It was very close to making my list, but I went with my favorite song of the 60s, and that is Classical Gas.
Which I figured was your number one.
By Mason Williams and the Mason Williams Orchestra. It's such a unique song that, you know, it got radio play with no lyrics, which you really don't see in general.
Yeah.
And it just has such a flow to this song. It starts off slow, basic acoustic guitar, moves into like a Spanish guitar sound, then moves into big band, into rock band. It's just like a trip of musical journey to see where music's gone. And it's just so unique sounding. If you've never heard this song, I do implore you to go out there and just listen to it once and think about what you're hearing. Because there's nothing else going on. There's no lyrics.
Yeah.
There's no real agenda behind this song. It's just music.
Yeah, I figured it was your number one because it was on The Simpsons.
Well, that too.
No, Classical Gas, good song. Again, it's fits the 60s time period as just something different.
Absolutely. Very experimental.
And that's our top fives of songs from the 1960s. Please let us know in the comments what your favorite songs are from the 60s. Also, let us know who had the better top five.
Me.
Again, me.
No, absolutely me.
You can't go wrong with what I had picked. But again, just let us know if you have a top five that you'd like to hear from us.
Yeah, leave comments on what top fives you'd like to see us debate about and your top 5 60 songs, and we'll take a look at them.
So let's move on to our Kickstarters for the month of March.
Yep, and we'll start off with you.
All right, so my Kickstarter that I chose for this month is from Button Shy Games. That was a Kickstarter a couple months ago that I did. Was my Kickstarter of the month. Was a bunch of their games. I just really like Button Shy Games.
Yep, they produce quality games.
Yep. So this is Death Valley. It's a pocket-sized push your luck tableau building game for 1 or 2 people, with each traveler striving to assemble their best mix of cards along their journey. And then you're building a scrapbook to win the game. So each turn, a player will choose whether to assign a card to their journey or to move the cards from their journey to their scrapbook. Cards feature stars, which are points, special abilities, and some interesting facts about Death Valley. And then each card also has a hazard, whether that's heat, terrain, floods, animals, things like that. And having 3 of the same hazard visible in your tableau will cause the player to bust and lose all the progress on your journey. I like that feature because I like the Grizzled, where if you have 3 of the same weather or symbol, you bust on that round. So that reminds me a lot of the Grizzled. So I think that's pretty cool. And at the end of the game, the player with the most stars in their journey, plus any additional points from cards' abilities, is the winner. This also comes with a 6-card expansion, button shy. Doesn't really do stretch goals. So automatically from the beginning, you get the expansion. And Death Valley was originally an entry into their Design a Game Real Life Location Challenge.
Yep.
And there's 2 other games that are part of this that were actually part of that challenge. So they pretty much decided to publish the top 3.
Yeah.
Now, when you're watching this, this will have already ended. It ends on March 26th. But Button Shy Games, check them out. They make great little games.
Yeah, I just like the look of this. The look of it reminds me a lot of Parks.
Yeah.
Which is smart because I guess Death Valley isn't as a park.
It's a national park.
So
yeah,
that's why it would look like it.
and again, great artwork on this, and it's only $10.
Yeah, you can never beat the price of a Button Shy game.
Yeah.
Fun for under $10 normally.
Yeah, and you can buy all 3. I think it is for 30 or 32, somewhere in around there. I think it's 30. Or they have an option where you can get Death Valley, Sprawlopolis, and another one.
I don't remember the third one.
So, but great little game. Again, cool artwork. Hoping it ends up well for them. I believe it is already funding.
Okay. But yeah, if you do watch this, you can always go to their Kickstarter page. Oftentimes they have late backer options. So my Kickstarter for this month is a big surprise. It's Everdale.
I think this is a lot of people's Kickstarter of the month.
Absolutely. Well, it's my favorite game.
Yeah.
I do like the drama around this game right now because they are offering, as you can see in this picture, a complete collection, which puts everything nicely in a collector's box. And it's going to be very cheap. I believe my last slide here gives the price. But it's a very great value. So a lot of people are upset that, if you never played this game and you really want to back it now, I would suggest backing at that one because you're getting all 4 expansions, the base game, and all the upgrade components for a very nice value. But I'll get to that slide when I get there. We'll start off with the first of the 2 expansions, which is Mistwood, which adds a new villain to the game as an option. Instead of having the Rat King, which was the main AI villain before.
Okay.
Now adds a spider who kind of does the same thing where it blocks certain location, but also has little spiders that can take things and whatnot, which I always enjoy a game that gives you another way to mess with you. So Mistwood's not the bigger of the 2 ones that are coming out because the next one is New Leaf, and it involves trains, and people love trains in board games for some reason.
Train games by themselves are a very popular category.
No one cares about the real life transportation of trains, but put them in a board game, and people love them. So this is the one that's getting all the attention. New Leaf.
Now, are you backing all this?
I've backed at the big old box one where I don't get the fancy collector's box. But I'm not super raged.
So I will want to play with this expansion here then.
Because you like trains?
Yeah.
I mean, it does come with cool components. It comes with like these little wooden tickets, and it has like little posters of the characters for train station. Then, like I said, if you want to back at the complete collection, it's only $200, which is a heck of a deal. Because if you have bought all the Kickstarter separately, like I have, it's been way more than the $350 that says there that you're saving. I mean, I'm not one of those people that are going on here and be like, "Dear Starling Game, how dare you give people a great value? Make them pay with their cash." I mean, it's kind of stupid. I'm not going to get mad at that.
Yeah, and anything that can bring more gamers to the table is a good thing.
Yeah. I mean, they did send me a questionnaire after I backed it saying, "Hey, what would you like to see?" I said, "Hey, don't make the big old box look terrible. As a person that backed you from the beginning, give me like at least nice artwork on this box that no one wants but me because I'm not."
Well, I don't know what's all scrolled below it there. There's a lot of writing I noticed, and I don't know.
It just says, it gives you like this really plain looking cover with one of the characters. He's a rabbit,
and it says the big old box,
and it just says, this is temporary art placement.
Is that all the wording is?
And then the sleeve, because you know how I like box sleeves. This box sleeve is made to be taken off and just recycled.
Oh.
So it's not going to be pretty, which I'm okay if it's an ugly sleeve that you're supposed to get rid of. But at least make the box itself look nice for people that have been there since the beginning.
Yeah.
Just a little fun thing. Because all the people I see online selling all their copies, like, well, now I got to sell this so I can get the collector's edition. I'm like, but why? You already bought it once. Don't buy it a second time. I mean, I guess the company's fine if you buy it a second time.
Yeah, buy it as many times as you'd like.
But I don't know. It's still a good game. If you ever see me and I have it with me, we'll play it. You don't have to ask me twice. So my Kickstarter...
Just at least once.
Yeah. Well, it'd be weird if you didn't ask me and you just held the box in front of me. I wouldn't know what you wanted.
Well, that's something I would do.
Yeah. So my Kickstarter of the month is Everdell. It ends first week of April. So there's still time to check it out. So those were our Kickstarter of the month. Please leave in the comment what Kickstarters you think we should take a look at. We might take a look at them. You might convince us enough to end up buying one.
Yeah.
So those were our Kickstarter. Now let's get on to a game we played this month. And the game I chose that we played this month is Dinosaur Tea Party. I had a blast with this game.
Yeah, I wasn't sure what I was going to think about it as we were setting it up, because I'm not the type of person who comes up with witty things off the top of my head quick. Because when you ask the question to the person, they're supposed to give you the witty answer.
Like you're actually at a tea party.
Yeah. Like asking Tim, are you in the green room? Because there were 3 different colored backgrounds. And that was one of the things, you could say...
I'd be like, heavens oh my, this room doesn't look green at all.
Yeah.
And then you would know I'm not in a green room.
Yeah. So for me, coming up with things like that, being witty, I wasn't always witty, but... and if you're not into social deduction...
I think this is a good social deduction introduction.
Yeah.
Which is a hard sentence to say.
If you're not good at that, or if you're never good at, like, Guess Who, this is more like an adult dinosaur Guess Who.
I think kids would prefer this over Guess Who. Because A, it has dinosaurs.
Yeah, who doesn't love dinosaurs?
And B, it involves having a whole board that you're sharing together, that you're eliminating things as you go on.
The artwork was awesome. It was hysterical. These dinosaurs wearing hats and holding teacups and eating sandwiches.
Having little tiny dinosaurs as pets.
Yeah. And then there were 3 things you put on that little things that changed whether if you were that dinosaur,
like
you had to answer no all the time. Or you had to switch back and forth between your answers.
Or always lie.
And so, you're starting to build up what this person does or doesn't have. And then you're all of a sudden thinking, wait, they answered no to everything I asked. Could it be that one? And you're like, no, it fits this one. So
it's a nice little wrinkle. And then, every player starts off, they get a card of one of the dinosaurs. And that's who you are to begin with. Like here in this example that I'm showing behind me is Dennis. And it says here on the card that Dennis is drinking tea, as you can see on the card. Is showing his teeth, has a hat, wears the glasses, has flowers, which is in his hat, and is in the purple room.
Yeah.
So when Doug would be asking me questions, you have these little tiny tea bag tokens that have little pluses or minuses on them.
Well, no, it was it was crossed out or not.
Or not.
Yeah.
And then when they would ask me, I would put it out either up that says I am or negative that says I don't. So people can keep looking in front of me and be like, okay, these things he doesn't have, go back to the board. And if somebody would guess you get the new dinosaur and those go away. And it's the first person to get 3 guesses right. And, I think this would be a good game to give to kids.
Yeah.
Over Guess Who. Because it's one you can play with the family.
Yeah.
Because Guess Who is really a 2-player game. If you have a family of 4, you can play this a whole lot easier. I think it's more fun to look at and slightly harder, which I think is nice.
Yeah, and again, the artwork, great artwork. That was part of the fun of playing the game, was just looking at the cards.
Yep. So that was our game we played this month. We had a lot of options to go with this month. We could have went with Wingspan, Yeti Slalom, which was almost picked.
But now this is again great artwork, cute little game, great for kids, and it's actually Renegade Game Studio that put this out.
I think I've seen this in Target once or twice.
Yeah, I might have. I don't remember.
Yeah,
but
so if you have little kids, pick it up. Yeah. If you don't have little kids, pick it up. I mean, all three of us that were playing I was probably the youngest of the group, and I was 34, and I still had a blast. So that was our game, Dinosaur Tea Party.
Yep.
And now Doug gets to do the off topic this month.
All right. So
just love that background.
Off topic for this month. It's spring, and starting next month, amusement parks are going to open again.
Yep.
Not just here where we live, but Disney is supposed to be opening.
I'm sure most of the Six Flags will be opening.
Yeah, a lot of theme parks are opening next month. So with that, what's your favorite amusement park you've been to, and what's your favorite rides?
God, this is such a terrible question. I hate both amusement parks.
Yes, I know you do.
I hate amusement parks and I hate fun. I wish I could remember the name of the park we went to in Tampa.
That was Busch Gardens.
Was that
Busch Gardens is in Tampa.
Okay.
Yeah, there's one in Williamsburg and one in Tampa. You've been to both of them.
I have been. So it's the one in Tampa.
Okay.
I went there with a band trip, and they had a ride called Noah's Ark.
No, that was Kennywood.
Was that Kennywood?
Yes, that was in Kennywood. They actually took that ride out.
They did. Okay, so Kennywood would be...
That was still a band trip for you.
Okay. Well, see, that's why I knew it was banned. Okay, well then I'll go Busch Gardens in Tampa because that was fun because they had a whole section of like local birds. That you could walk into. They had netted off.
Yeah.
So that would be my favorite park just because how it's fun to have an aviary in the middle of your park.
Yeah. We don't get that in Pennsylvania.
No.
Though our park does have a zoo attached to it.
But Kennywood definitely for Noah's Ark. It was just such a weird experience.
I wish I would have gotten to ride that.
It wasn't a ride. You walked through it.
So it was like a fun house.
Yes.
It's a fun house style ride because you walk through it.
Yeah. I
mean, it's not a fun house.
Yeah.
But
it was part lecture because it would just shout random Bible verses at you. Part musical. Because random animals would start singing.
Okay.
And the only part I really remember was the end where Noah and a gorilla had a duet about surviving the flood. And I was standing there with several of my band friends just staring at it. And I remember my one friend asked me, what am I thinking? And I said, I don't know. This thing's broke me. I don't know how to respond to this. But that gorilla has some pipes. And it moved me. I kind of have a tear now thinking about it.
So that's your favorite ride then?
Probably. I think if they rebuild it, I would suggest we would go out to see it again. And I'd be upset if that duet wasn't there.
What other amusement park rides do you like? So granted, I know you haven't ridden a ride at an amusement park since like 1996.
No, the last amusement park ride I probably ridden was 2003, my junior year. I'm just not an amusement park ride kind of guy. I enjoy the carousel there where it has the rings.
That's at Knoebels.
I enjoyed Tiny Timbers when Hershey had it.
And we should have bought one of those boats when they sold them.
We should have.
Missed our chance.
But we're poor, so that factors into buying things.
Yes.
That ride was just enough excitement. You just sat there.
It did have 2 splash hills.
Yeah, but the splash hills, you only went up like 4 feet. Like when you stood up, you stood higher than the thing.
Yeah, I worked the ride that took its place, so it's not a very big area there.
Yeah. Trying to think if there was any other ride. I used to love the covered wagon.
The Conestoga wagon.
Yeah, that's what it was called.
What about the Kissing Tower?
I don't think that's there anymore. the Conestoga way.
No, that's been going for a long, long time.
Yeah. Kissing Tower is okay. It's a great way to get some air conditioning during the middle of the day.
And what about the monorail?
Actually, no. I scratch it. I hate the Kissing Tower because it always freaks me out. Because it always tells people not to sit on the windows, and there's always some kid that sits on the window, and you always think that window is gonna fall out. And you're going to be here part of a scene where they're going to ask you questions. That just ruins your day.
But you can see our house from it.
You can. But I always think, man, I'm going to be part of a crime scene. I'm going to have to answer questions.
What about the monorail? Or the train?
I wouldn't consider the monorail ride.
Well, it's not really transportation at our park.
It used to be transportation.
Sort of, yes.
It's transportation that became a ride.
Yes.
So.
What about the train?
The train?
Yeah, the Drag Gulch Railroad.
I must have been real low when I was on that.
It's still there.
Yeah, I know.
The actual train.
Yeah, I know. It was near the Canyon River Rapids, wasn't it?
It was on the way there.
Yeah.
It's next to the Music Box Theater, and
yeah. Oh.
You rode the train.
Like I said with the train game, no one cares about physical trains unless it's in board game form. You make a board game about the train in Hershey Park, I'll play it.
That's true, though. We didn't go to the park.
We went during Milton Hershey Worker Appreciation Day.
Yeah.
And that was it.
See, I went when I was little because we had season passes.
Yeah.
Then you were bored.
The story of my life. Yeah, I don't know if we've been to any other parks.
Well, like I said, you were to both Busch Gardens.
Yeah.
Busch Gardens, Williamsburg, you were a baby.
Yeah, so I don't remember much of it as a baby. I've been to Knoebels a lot because we used to go there with scouts.
You've been to Knoebels quite a bit. You've been to Kennywood. I've never been to Kennywood.
Yeah.
Is that all you've been to?
Did we go to the place in Montreal that was in the river?
No, we didn't go to the amusement park up there. So I think that's all you've been to.
Probably. I can't imagine me ever saying, hey, guys, let's go to an amusement park.
No.
I was a boring child.
Yeah, I've been to...
You've been to...
Disneyland.
Didn't we go to Disney World when I was a baby?
No.
I thought we did when we went down to Florida.
No, we just went and visited relatives.
Yeah.
I was to Disneyland my senior year of high school.
Couldn't even visit Disney World as a baby, I tell you.
Now, is Universal Studios in a separate amusement park? Is that even an amusement park? Would you consider that an amusement park?
I would nowadays because they actually have rides now.
Yeah.
I don't know back when. I've never been there, so you would have to tell me.
I mean, my favorite thing there was the Back to the Future thing. They did because they had Jurassic Park the ride.
Yeah, see,
that was the one thing we all rode because one of my friends during band camp that year had a Jurassic Park the ride hat he wore. Mm-hmm. So when we went, everybody decided we're going to ride Jurassic Park the ride, which is basically a log flume ride. Mm-hmm. The best thing was on our boat, nobody got wet during the last downhill. You go under this waterfall. And nobody on our boat got wet except my one friend who absolutely got drenched. And the weird thing is he was sitting in the middle row. So
that's just bad luck.
But, yeah. My favorite amusement park.
I don't know if I'd want to go to Disney. A, it's very expensive. But B, it's expensive for a reason. It's one of the top tier parks in the world.
Well, and you don't ride rides. I don't really ride rides either.
But there's a lot to do at Disney that's non-ride related.
There is. And actually, when I was at Disneyland, again, I was a senior in high school, we rode Pirates of the Caribbean, the Jungle Cruise, which thankfully we were very sleep deprived because we thought the guy was hysterical, which made his day. Mm-hmm. Those might have been the only two rides I rode. Oh, the teacups. The teacups because I made everybody laugh in line. Again, I was very sleep deprived. High school senior on a band trip, you don't sleep much. And that might have been all I rode. We spent a lot of time just walking around, being teenagers. Yeah. We did ride. It was a space one. And I don't remember what it was called. It wasn't Space Mountain, but it was like you went in and you were in this spaceship and it moved and there was a thing on the screen and I'll remember the name of it like 3 days from now. But
Okay.
It was a clean park.
Yep. They have great restaurants, I hear. They have.
Yeah, we didn't eat there. Well, yeah, we did.
Like you probably ate out of like a vendor stand or something.
Well, no, we actually went to a catering area.
Okay, yeah.
And then the awards were at some random building like on the other side of the property.
Like they have shows there and whatnot. Yeah. Like I don't know if Hershey still has shows.
They didn't last year. Mm-hmm. No, I don't believe any park. Well, most parks were closed. Hershey Park did get open midway through the summer, but they didn't have any shows. They're not planning on shows this year, I believe.
I mean, because you used to be able to go to the park and you would go to like the music box and then
they
amphitheater.
Quit, but they don't use the amphitheater anymore, and they don't do the Sunday concerts anymore.
Oh, that's a shame.
But
they still have the Seal show.
Yeah. But yeah, my favorite park is not the one I work at because I spend too much time there. Though I do like it. It's part of our town's history.
Yeah.
But my favorite park is probably Knoebels. You were to Lakemont Park in Altoona too. I forgot that one. I just thought about that.
Did I go into it?
Yes. You wouldn't ride the roller coaster with me because there were no seatbelts.
That's true.
Because the roller coaster is the oldest one. It's in the country called Leap the Dips.
Yeah. And with my luck, I'd be ran over by the car.
It doesn't go that fast.
I would still get run over somehow.
But they've shut down, sort of. They're now more of a town park. I'm not sure how they're running it, but coolest feature for that, they have the baseball stadium right next to them, with the roller coaster right outside the fence. But my favorite park that I've been to is Knoebels, and that's just been there so many times. I've enjoyed it. They have a great haunted house, and like Tim said, we spent a lot of time there with scouts. Food at Knoebels is amazing. If you ever want to go to an amusement park for good food, Knoebels is it. And my favorite ride, Tilt-A-Whirl. Any place that there's a Tilt-A-Whirl, that or the Roundup, where you stand against the wall and it spins and goes on an angle. Those would be my two favorite rides. And that's our off topic for March.
Yep.
With that, we do ask that you please like and subscribe this video.
Please leave a comment in below for future off topics so we don't have to keep making them up.
Yep.
Also, leave me suggestion for off topic screens because I'm just randomly pulling pictures off here. But yeah, please like and subscribe to the channel. Every view helps. Please suggest this video to your friends. Or your enemies. I don't know. Either or.
More so your enemies.
Absolutely.
Then they'll become your friends.
I don't know about that. But thank you and good night. That's weird. Just thank you. Cut this video. Cut all of this.
He's trying to be Edward R. Morrow.
Who? I'm young.
Thank you.